welcome to a very special introduction to a very special bonus series. What are we going to call this, Garth?
Intro Psych Sessions, conversations about teaching intro psych.
And stuff.
And stuff, yeah.
Do you ever have any regrets about the and stuff when you're saying it in the intro each time?
Yeah, I never know how to say it. If it's, what vowel do I put before the N? Or do I just say N? Like, do you ever go in stuff? N stuff?
I think there's no way to avoid not putting some sort of sound for the apostrophe.
Stuff.
What sound does an apostrophe? If an apostrophe falls in the woods and no one's there to hear it, what sound does it make?
Well, I think our apostrophe is, and this must have not been my decision, I think our apostrophe is after the N.
Is it an apostrophe or is it an apology? Is that what we owe our listeners right now?
For going down this... No, I think this is really important stuff. They should probably chime in on. I'm looking at a card of ours right now. Yeah, it comes after the N, see?
Okay, in stuff. There should be some sort of, I don't know, guttural sound
We
of
did
some
disagree,
sort.
but it's an interesting thing to think about. If once you're a little ways into a project, I mean, you just gave a talk, and then you told us that you would rather have changed the title of your talk.
Oh, God, yes.
Because it didn't end up being what you thought it would be. But I think we're actually doing what we set out to do.
And you know, one of the things I want to give you kudos for is that logo for our podcast rocks. I have no regrets at all about that. That thing pops when I see it on iTunes, when I see it anywhere, when I see it on my iPod Touch or my cell phone. That I have, that's one of those things that after the fact, that thing pops. Well done, sir.
Well, thank you very much. It's a good friend of mine who put that together for us, and after a few conversations about what we wanted, and it looks good. And anytime you want to change the colors on it, we can go different seasons, whatever.
Nope. One of these days, though, I'm going to talk you into T-shirts, hats. I want that on a black shirt or a hat. But I want to come back to this awesome idea that you had to do a mini-series, essentially, about introductory psychology.
Yeah, I have had, as you have had, for many more years than I have, Eric, conversations about...
Really? How many more years? Do you want to do the math there, buddy?
I'm not sure. You've had your PhD for 28 years, right?
Wow. Okay, yes.
Okay.
You don't need to really recall that at the tip of your tongue, but whatever.
Yeah, so we've talked about intro psych a lot. At these conferences, it's because it's my world, right? I'm at a community college. I don't teach third and fourth year classes. I don't teach graduate students, and so my world is intro psych, and nobody has solved this thing. People have great ideas about it, but nobody has solved intro psych, and we don't even know. We might know the questions, but there's not a whole lot of answers out there about how to teach this course well. And so I thought, why not showcase what people are doing and some of the best teachers that we know.
Yeah, and I'm not so sure that it's ever going to be solvable. I almost think it's like a curriculum. It's a living document. It's a living problem, and that it's always going to be changing. And by the time we think we get it solved, the student demographic is going to change. Or by the time we think we get it solved, technology is going to change. And so I think as a scholar educator, we're always going to have to be updating and reading and attending conferences. And I think that's the challenge. And that's why, and I'm going to come back and give you more kudos about you had the foresight to think about, I'm going to do these little mini interviews with people around the country, and we're just going to talk about intro for about 15, 20 minutes. You had the foresight to put these all together. So I'm just going to give kudos to Garth because he did all the work on this. And so when these go live and you get these 9 little pieces and parts and you get energized before your semester, your term, your quarter starts, you can thank Garth Neufeld for that because he had the idea to do this.
Well, thanks, Eric. I think that it's an interesting trial. Because you've already had some ideas about other spin-offs like this. So we'll see how this is received by folks. It's a little different, but I think we do have to be innovative and different, even with something like Psych Sessions. I think people like hearing the interviews, but these side projects are good. And if people have ideas for them, they can tweet us or email us or whatever, and will listen.
Absolutely. I mean, I think down the road we could do something. I mean, we could do mini series or bonus episodes on, on a stats course or a methods course, or it could be about flipped classroom, or it could be about interteaching, or it could be about how different clicker systems, if you're using Poll Everywhere, or if you're using iClicker or something. I mean, we can take a deep dive, or we can skim the surface. We could go deep, or we could go wide. I mean, there's a lot of different ways that we could do this.
Yeah, and then there are, where Intro Psych is my world and your world.
Yes, it is.
You have some things in your world that are really unique to your career and what you've done, things like skills and advising. And I think a lot of people who go to conferences know this about you, but there are a lot of people who don't go to conferences who might just hear this. And so I'd love to hear you talk more about that stuff too. So can I transition into what people are going to get in these 8 episodes?
Yeah, please do it. Maybe I know you asked a set series of questions in most of them, so please do give an overview.
So they're a bit set. You're going to hear some similar questions to each of these folks, but really I wanted to get an idea of when you're in Danae Hudson's classroom, or Jane Hallinan, or Steve Chu, Virginia Welly, a high school teacher. When you're in these people's, if you're a student or if you're a fly on the wall, what is it like to be in those classrooms, and how are they thinking about it differently? And there are some gems of ideas in these episodes. The way that Jane Hallinan structures her course content was really fun to hear. And then you get some other folks who they think about the course in such unique ways. Some teach sections of 300 students, and others teach 30 students, and we showcase that and talk about the differences of doing those kinds of things.
And I love that. And years ago I had this idea that didn't fly. Is that I had hoped to get a grant where I could get a camera pack, and I could send it from IntroPsych teacher to IntroPsych teacher and have them film a class. And I would have loved to have had a film of Bill McKeechee teaching class of intro, or Charles Brewer teaching a class, or Jane Hallinan. I'd love to sit in and watch a Jane Hallinan class. It's unwieldy to think I could fly from campus to campus, but I thought about, what if I could send and I can't afford a video crew, but what if I could send, a Pelican case with a camera and a tripod? And I just never got to the funding for it. But I think this is the next best thing. Let's hear them talk about how they approach the course,
And you liked the timing of this release, right?
I do, because I think most instructors are getting ready to start their new academic year. And so maybe they're looking for a new idea, or maybe they're just looking for inspiration about they're getting ready to try something new, and they're going to hear Steve Chu talk about, you need to take a risk. You need to do something differently. If you were here at APA in 2018, you heard him give his Brewer invited address about Charles Brewer and Brewerisms. And so we get inspiration from these outstanding teachers of psychology, and we almost get permission to take risks when we hear these people we love and respect take risks. Yeah. And so that's why I love what you've done here and doing the extra effort to put together these intro psych sessions.
I just know for listeners out there, anybody you hear on this little mini series, you can email them directly and ask them questions. I'm almost certain that they'd all be open to that and would. So if there's something you hear and you're like, I don't really understand exactly how that was done, please reach out to us or to them about it. And then I'll plug. This is an interesting time for the introductory psychology course nationally. We're just starting in on some work to look at what this course should be and can be through the General Psychology Initiative from APA. And, I just want to put that on people's radars because they're going to be hearing about it soon. We want to hear from intro psych teachers. Anything else I should say about that?
I think maybe we'll come back with a separate sidebar at some point about GPI.
Yep.
About the General Psychology Initiative, and give it a little bit of its own spotlight, because I think it's worth it. And maybe talk to you and Regan, and maybe Martha Baynow, and maybe some of the key players, and have you come on board and talk about that, because there are some really critical compass points that we want to make sure that we get north, south, east, and west all represented when we talk about GPI.
Oh, he's giving me such crap right now.
No, I take my compass points seriously, as we all do.
Oh, man. So, hey, everybody, thank you. And Eric, thanks for letting me just do a little something on the side here. It's been fun.
It's been a real burden to me to let you do more work, Garth, and make us both look good. It's been real trouble for me. And so the burden's been all mine, and the pleasure's been all yours.
Enjoy these episodes of the Intro Psych Sessions.